Hello friends, welcome to the sixth video in this series. In this video, I will show you how you can show the history. That means the URLs already submitted by the user. So open your index controller and if you see we have been just completed in the previous video the conversion of one long URL into the shortened URL. If you need to check out previous module, you can just type the gibberish URL and shorten it by pressing enter. So see, in the previous video we have just completed this module. In this video we will just show the already submitted URLs. So for that you must first have to open your view, under view, under include, open the header section, and in the header section we are going to add history link here, just in front of your email address. So move up here and add a link called history. So here we have that history link, and but it is not working right now. Just we need to make it a link, so we need to add a link here. So it will be history, or you can say just write it as history. Okay, if you open your app history, nothing is there. So for that we need to create a controller. Under URL app, create a new controller called history. I think the name is wrong, you need to correct it. Just rename it history, history. Okay, we have history. Extend it from the same controller, call the parent controller, and under index view call your load view. In this you need to call your URL app includes header.php. Similarly you need to call footer.php. If you open it, okay, this is not includes, it just include. Now we have our history. You also need to add here history view. So add history and call it index. Just create a new view here, call it history. Under history create a new view called index, and just history view. See, we are under history view. Now we need to show here history as previously submitted by the user. So for that you need to have model which fetch the history data. So for that you need to create a new model called, under history folder, create a folder named history and create a new file called history model. model history model and extend it using ci model. Call the parent controller or constructor using parent constructor and fetch the history. Public get URL history. Okay, the history belongs to the currently logged in user, so you need to pass the user ID. Okay, now to fetch the history, we will use the same where query. The query here is create a variable query and call the db under this get where, and the table name, in this case the table name is urls, and the parameter you want to filter out, that means where in this case we need to just check out the table. We have the urls and user id, so in this case we must have user id equal to user id. So this is the query. If it's having something, we will return it. Otherwise, query, we have the result array. Just count the result. Count. If array is greater than 0, return this, else return false. So before we work with this get URL history, we need to auto load this. Open your config and auto load. Use this history and under model call history model. Now you can use it in your history controller. So how you are going to use it? This history model, and the name of your method is get URL history, but you need here user ID. How you are going to use that user ID? You need to fetch the currently logged in session. For session, if you look at the previous work, the under header we are using this session user data email. Use this to fetch the detail about your session. Use printer to see if there is something inside or not. Okay, there is something wrong here. Under config, sorry, under auto load, we have something wrong here. It is saying that this URL app history model unable to locate history model. So under history, okay, the spelling is again wrong. Need to take care of this. Okay, that is we have 123 email. Okay, the error is just because of this. Let's correct this. We have okay. Now it is saying the session that user currently have is this. So you just need to if, or just say user email equal to this. And to get the detail about user ID, we need to check out the account model, in which there is a function called get user data. Just use this to get the detail about user data. It is called account model get user data, pass the user email, and you will get the user data. Print r this to see the user data. See, we have all the user data. You just need to get the user ID, so user ID will be generated. Okay, there is something wrong here. It is called ID only, not user ID. So ID. Okay, we have one user ID, so user ID will be this. Just use this and pass onto this. Print r and see if okay. Let's see, we have this history which is in our database. Okay, we need to show this history into just rename that URL history and pass it to here URL history. Okay, now this history will be available to you under history view. So open your history view and print this. Using printer. You are just copy this if you want to, and here we have, see, here we have the history under history view. So if you want to format this properly, you need to use the for each loop or for loop. I am preferring for each loop. You can use if you want. So it is URL history as history. So you need to just print history, and we have URL ID, and we have origi original URL. Then we have the short URL, or yes, short URL. Then we have the created at, then we have the updated at. Just refresh the page and just do one thing here, add break here, it will reflect like this. So here we have the results, that is the history, but we need to show it so that it will make it good for the user to view. For that, we will use the Bootstrap's native table class. Just remove this view, we don't need this. Add class. Please remember, this is the classes defined in the Bootstrap. So here we have the under tree head, add table row, add td, under table add URL ID, add long URL, add short URL, add created ad, and add updated ad. Refresh the page and see we have this. We need to format it according to our requirement, and here we have t body, and just now we need to write it as tr. Tr is table row, and under this table data, the first is table data, and the first is URL ID. Just copy and paste this here. Just paste it here, here, and here, again here. You don't need to paste it actually here. This is just see we having our formatted table. One thing you must take care that we are actually fetching all the data which is stored under URL table filtered by the user ID. But if so, see if the data is very long, or there are very large number of URLs submitted by the user, maybe 100,000, then it will be very tough to show all the data here. We need to show data page by page. That means first 10 result will be used or shown here. And also see that the URLs are not sorted properly. That means the first URL is submitted is showing in the first page, but we need to show in the reversible order. That means the last URL submitted by the user, that is this URL, we need to show it at the top. So for that we need to just change our query and add a simple query here known as order by and we need to order it by according to updated. That means the last updated URL. So, and it must be in the descending order. So use it like this, and see now we having our last submitted URL at the top of it. Again also the number of URLs is by default it is just returning the database is returning all the URL, but we only need the last 5 or 10 URL. So we need to limit it by using just add a limit query here, that is limit, or just write it as 10 here. So see now we having only 10 results returning. If you want to show only 5 results, just add 5. So but how we are going to see another 5 or another 10 results? We need to change the query accordingly, but before that we can use that infinite scrolling, or add a more button here, so that we can view our more data or more results submitted by the user. So for that we need to add a view, or in under view we need to add a button here. How we are going to just add a button here, more. The button is showing above, just move that button below if you want, and add a class to it. Let's see how it looks. Add some JavaScript to it, like I'm using a jQuery for that. Okay, so when we click on the more button, what it will show, it will just send a Ajax request, and the URL will be the same URL but with some added parameter URL get more. So under success, add response. So open your console of the browser you are using, just refresh the page first. Okay, we need to do something here. Document dot ready, or we need what we call it, document dot load maybe. Put this under here, just refresh it. That means jQuery is not available. We need to move our jQuery above. Why it is happening, why it is happening? Because our jQuery is actually in the footer. See here, our jQuery is loaded here, but our query script is above jQuery. That's why it is happening. For the time being, we just moving our jQuery to the bottom of the page under header. Just move it here, under header, or just here, move it here. For the time being we are doing this, but don't do this. Just move your all JavaScript below your main body content, and or you can say that at just the beginning of your closing body tag. It is good for your site's speed. So see, now we don't have any such error as jQuery not or something JavaScript thing not found. So just remove this and remove this also, refresh the page and see. Okay, now if I click the button here, see it is sending a request, and it is saying 404 page not found because we don't have anything as history get more. So under history, create a new method called public get more, and refresh the button again, clear this. Now see, it is a valid request with 200 response. That means we are here. If you want to see something here, or just echo something as hi and click the button, you see we are having our data. So we need to show the next result. Next, that means how many there are, 1 2 3 4, there are 5 results, and we need to show the next 5 result. For that we need to create a new method, and we'll call load more, or we, okay, not here, under history model. We are in the wrong place at that time. And see, we can use the same function, or we can modify this function, and limit it to 5, and offset. There is something called offset. Offset means the next result you want to fetch. Offset equal to 0. By default we are setting the offset to 0 and limit, and if we already have the offset 5, we will show the next 5 results. So it will, the offset depend will the change in the offset will change the result accordingly. So if you refresh, nothing will change here because we having our user id, in this case 1, limit is 5 and offset is 0. If you change the offset to 5, see we will be having the next 5 result here. So we need to change it dynamically. So what we are going to do, under this we need to use this also, and we need to send the data as a JSON. So let's see if we having here, and see we have the data here, but see it is returning the same data. That means we need to get the data next to 21, that means 20, 19, 18, but we are getting the same data as we are getting here. So that means our query is not working right. The limit equal to 5, and or just pass it 5, and offset, offset is we need. So how do we get the offset? To get the, to to send the offset to the server, we need to know how many data are there inside this table. That means we need to find how many datas are already loaded. That means if 10 data or to 10 rows are there, we need to fetch the 10 next rows. So we need to get the rows here. So we need to check if there is anything called uh, method, so that we can fetch total number of rows. Maybe there are, we need to just, I don't know right now, or we can check length. Length, if say there is something called length. Okay, there is, here we have the error. So under console, I think there is an error. Okay, there is an extra parenthesis here, no error. So it is showing length equal to 1, that means it is not right. So we need to find something called length. Okay, the solution is here. LDNDTH. Refresh this and see. I am having 5. That means we. So here we have the where offset. So we need to pass this offset. How we are going to pass data? We need to check this. Passing data into Ajax request. There are some parameters. Okay, there is a call data element. We need to pass offset. We have the offset, and here we have the offset. So it is saying undefined offset parameter. Okay, just click here. We are sending offset equal to 5, and under history we need offset equal to this input, and input, under input you need to check offset, pass it here, offset, see if things work. Okay, there is error. Okay, we need to do this and see we are having our correct data. In this page we are having 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, and in the next Ajax request we are loading 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. So we are getting the correct data. Now we need to append the JSON data into this table. So how we are going to do this? In the index page on the success, what we need to do is we need to just append the data here. Table body dot html equal to plus, or how we append the data here. Before that, just do one thing. We need to use the for each loop response dot for each. What we need to do is we need to first just log this to see what is inside this. Under console sorry, for each is not a function, response not for each. Okay, or you can use this for response in console.r here. Just remove this. And see what it is doing. Okay, it is printing the index. I think there is something wrong. Console dot log response, just print this response. Okay, we are having response. Now we need to parse this response. Okay, wait, See, the response type is HTML. We need to change that. So how we are going to change that? We need to use header content type equal to application slash JSON. You can use text JSON or application JSON. It's almost same. Let's see, we are having our JSON type. Response headers are JSON type. So let's try this. Okay, now we are having correct response dot for each function are just console dot log this are. Just refresh the page and hit your more and see we are having all the data, and we can now parse it accordingly. Just use here r dot id and or url id to see if it is working right or not. Okay, we are having our. How we are going to use this to append this into. Okay, we can use this same method. Dot append append. So let's see if this works or not. Okay, it is appending. See here what will change. See, there are some changes here. We need to format it properly. So do it like this and see it is working. How we are going to do it? We need to copy the body, the template, single row template. So how our template is actually this tr tr table row and table data. This is table data. So format it properly so that it is visible to you. Now we need to show the data in this url id. We need to put this inside this, and the second is called original url, and the next is short url, and the another is just copy from here if you just to speed up things. The second is updated at. Okay, now we are complete with our. Just close this if you want and click the more button and see. Okay, see we are having our things working, and if you want to load more you can load more. There are some things we need to fix them. See, we don't have any result, so our data will not load. So if you refresh you will get onto your previous script. So there is a missing short URL. So now see how it is working. We can do one more thing here. Suppose we are having no result, like currently we are having result now, and suppose we are on the last request, and here we have no result under this. So what we will say, if response equal to false, what we will do, we will remove that more button, or we will modify that button's content. So here we will, what we will do, there is a button called more, and more dot hide that button. Okay, okay, let's see if this works or not. It is loading more, it is loading more, it is loading more, and see, now the button is removed because there is no data. This is the last one. So this is quite a good thing. Again, there are small things we need to make work, like when we are having more data, our scroll bar is not moving to the end. See it again, I'm clicking more, and the scroll bar is, there is a data below that scroll bar, but the scroll bar is not moving. So there are things that you can do to move your scoreboard to the bottom of the page. How you can do that? You can do that using something called scroll height or something. I'm missing. Let's see if this works or not. Just get your body tag here, and there is a response in the body. Body dot scroll height, or let me search it on Google. Here we have our scroll top, and where we want to move it, we want to move it to end of the page. So here we have table body dot height, or scroll height, or OLLHEIGST. Let's see if things work or not. I think it is not working right now, so we need to just do it. It is not working. just to need, or just to make it sure we are doing things that are okay, we need to check the height. We need to check the height before Ajax also. Move over to your console here. See what is the height. It is saying undefined. That means table body, and again table body here also. Again refresh and click the button. I think there is nothing as. Let's see if there is something in jQuery. If there is something else, scroll to bottom. Okay, let's check this. Okay, we are having something here. jQuery is returning something. Okay, now we see we are getting our data here, but still our scroll bar is not moving. So how we are going to move our scroll bar? It is saying scroll top. So do this here. Again, just click on more, and add the, I think add the button more here. Or add body here. Remove this body because it is not working. So see, it is working right now. We are clicking more and our scroll bar is moving to end of the page. Here we have, that's it. So there is one more thing, you can highlight this your history link also. Currently if we are not the link is not visible if the link is highlighted. So close this because we are onto our solution here. Open your header page and open your history link and copy this here, and here also just remove this and call it and if the history link is having, how you going to check if the history link is active? We need to get this URL segment here. So for that, in Codeigniter we have URI, and we are having segment. So what is the key here? 0 1 2. So we need to get the 2. If 2 is equal to history, we are going to add a class called active. If not, else we are going to show it as it is. We are not going to add a class called active. So just refresh the page, see if things work. I think it is not working. Just echo this to see if it is working or not. And see, it is working, but there is something wrong. It is saying it is active. Okay, we need to move your active to list and now see if okay. So things are working. So thank you for watching this video. In the next video, we will improve our your shortener app. And if you like the video, subscribe, share. Also, you can check out the source code of this. The links are given below. You can check out the demo of this whole web app on to demos.codebing.com. Thank you. Thanks for watching.